crafty friends, and happy Thursday to you, or if you're watching this on replay, whatever day of the week it is. On this video, what I thought I would do is show you some of my favorite crafting tools, things that I use all the time. You don't necessarily have to have all of these things to get started crafting, but as you're going along your crafting journey, these are the things that I recommend that you get. So let's start, I suppose, at the very beginning. As you're hopping on, say hi. I'd love to know that I'm not just standing here in my craft room in front of my phone talking to myself. Tell me where you're watching from. Feel free to ask questions. I will provide links at the end, but if you're eager to look, my website is Magnolia, DIY, C-O-M, magnoliadiy.com. And feel free to sprinkle. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about are things that I absolutely love and that I use all the time. And I guess the first thing I would start out with that you do need to have to get started if you're going to use any of these awesome stencils or do, you know, the projects that I'm doing. Oh my gosh, what have I got all over here? The first thing that you definitely are going to need are antibacterial wipes to clean up your surfaces. Do I have this on the back of my stencil carrier sheet? Yes, I sure do. You can also clean your stencils with these. Did you know that? Yes, you can. So the first thing that I recommend are the squeegees. And these come, you can get a whole package of small ones that look like this. Or you can get the small cut apart. And what I have done with those is I have just chopped them into smaller pieces, like cut them in half. And then sometimes I cut that even further in half. So I have a little one. So, and this is just a couple dollars. It's a great thing to have. Alternatively, Magnolia has a bigger squeegee, which is good if you have a big area to stencil. And they also have a handled squeegee, which I don't know that that's really necessary because I've been doing this for a while and I don't have that tool yet. So another great tool to have are these little stir sticks. They're great for stirring up your chalk paste. And when they get cruddy, I throw them away because you get a package of 25 for just a few dollars. And they can be used for a lot of different things, even for mixing regular acrylic paint or chalk paint or craft paint. So you can use do a lot of things with them. And then here's a bigger one, which is great as well. In fact, I just opened a new white chalk paste this morning, and I was using my, whatever this tool is called. I'll get you guys links when I'm all done to get everything all creamy and smooth. So I am going to be giving away 2 of these adorable red squeegees from magnoliadiy.com. You cannot buy these. I got them on a promotion. I can't even remember what it was, but I'm going to give away 2 of these to 2 random names that I select that sprinkle this video. And I think I might throw in with it one of the new Valentine's Day catalogs. So 2 people who sprinkle this video to their Facebook page or to Facebook groups that you're involved in, you know, spread the love. 2 people who do that, I'll pull the names randomly and I'll tell you guys tomorrow who that will be because I will pop these in the mail to them. Okay? A red squeegee and a Valentine's Day catalog. Okay, so let's get back on track. Another thing that I think is really super helpful if you're going to be stenciling is this fuzzing towel. Okay, it comes also from the same place, Magnolia DIY. And on this side, I'll fuzz my stencils, especially when they're new because they're super sticky. And then after I wash them, I'll lay them in here if I'm in a hurry to use them again on the gray side, and you can just pat them dry. So like this is what I'm talking about. Say I just used this, I would put it right here and I could just pat it dry so I can quickly use it again. So this is called a fuzzing towel, and I'll put a link to the page that has all these doodads that are super helpful when I'm all finished, or you can just say link. Okay, another awesome tool. Mine look terrible because I'm a messy crafter and I don't take great care of my stuff, but is a set of these Paintbrush Squeegees. You get 5 different ones. They all have different shaped tips. They're great for getting into tight spaces. And you get a set of 5, and they're like $16 or $17. These are great. They are lifesavers when you're trying to do, like on this stencil, for example, if you're trying to just do this little line right here, a separate color, this one right here would be great for doing that. Okay, so I've talked about squeegees and the fuzzing towel and the stir sticks. Let's talk about cleaning your stencils. Okay, this is my super cruddy tub from Dollar Tree. And you guys, what I personally prefer to do is after I've used a stencil, I'll fill this up with an inch or 2 of water, and I usually just have it sitting over here on my counter. I'll throw my stencil, after I've used it, in face down in the tub and let it soak. And then I take it to the kitchen and spray it off with the sprayer there. So you could find these tubs everywhere. Dollar Tree, and this just is proof that I use it all the time. I probably do need to invest in another $1 tub because it looks so cruddy, but this is an essential. And you can throw more than one stencil in it face down, and also you can mix, like if you used one stencil with chalk paste and another stencil with ink, that's okay. You can throw them all in the same tub, and then when you're done with your projects, just go to whatever sink that is for you, whether it's in your bathroom, in your bathtub, I've done that before, in your kitchen sink, whatever, and spray your stencils off and lay them to dry, sticky side up, on your counter or on a towel of some sort. Okay. So, another great cleaning tool is the cleaning, what's it called? Stencil Cleaner. Okay, and I'm frugal. I know I've told you guys that 100 times. So, when you get your Stencil Cleaner sponge, it's going to be like about this big. But I always cut mine in half, and I'll put one at the sink and I'll save one. And then when it gets totally cruddy, then I will just toss it. And what is special about these Stencil Cleaner sponges is just the way they're designed. Here's the thing, I get this question all the time. They are very similar to what a magic cleaner looks like, but they don't have all those chemicals, or magic eraser. They don't have all those chemicals, so don't use magic erasers on your stencils. What you want instead is a Stencil Cleaner sponge, and it's just a couple dollars, and if you're frugal like me, cut them in half and use one at a time. And basically what I will do is in the bottom of my sink, I'll be spraying my stencil, and you guys, a lot of times when you use ink, it's going to stay in the front of your stencil, which just makes your stencil look loved and well used and kind of gunky. But it generally does not affect how your stencil's going to work. So if I have a stencil that's really looking kind of gunky, kind of stained, I will put a teeny bit of dish soap on my sponge, and then I'm just going to go over this bumpy side, the front of my stencil. The edges are great, and you'll see that this will make the front of your stencils look a little bit better, and it makes it easier to get chalk paste and ink off of your stencils. But the number one thing is that you just want to clean them ASAP. especially if you're using ink with them. And since I'm talking about what you use with your stencils, I really don't recommend that you ever use any kind of actual paint. And I know this is confusing to people because they hear chalk paint and chalk paste and they think it's the same thing, but they're worlds apart, completely different things. Paint has a tendency to dry super fast and clog all the little holes in your mesh stencils and make it super hard to get it out. It shortens the life of your stencil. Sometimes it can ruin it if you let it sit too long. It's difficult to remove. Chalk paste, on the other hand, is just a paste form of like the chalk that your teacher used on her blackboard when you were in elementary school. It's that same substance in a paste form with color, and it's not permanent, and it washes out of the stencils easily. So don't use any kind of paint if you want your stencils to last forever. And I'm talking about acrylic paint, I'm talking about chalk paint, I'm talking about craft paint, I'm talking about latex paint, any kind of paint. Paint is a big no-no for your stencils. Chalk paste and ink are the best for these, for longevity. And who doesn't want their stencils to last forever? In fact, while I'm thinking about it, let me just show you. I showed this yesterday or the day before. This is one of my most loved, most used stencils. It's called a Victorian Pattern. It's all stained from the different colors of ink and paste that I've used with it. But I have used this puppy, I don't even know, 50, 60 times. It doesn't have a ton of stick left to it, but when you put it down on a surface and you push it down and then you apply some of your medium, you can almost kind of cement it in place and it still works great. So when your stencils start to look like this, it's clean, the mesh is still clear, although it's stained. When they start to look like this just means that you loved this stencil and that you got a great value for your money because you got to use this puppy like on a ton of different projects. Last year, we did a ton of carrots for Easter. Oh my gosh, we did bunny rabbits. We've done so many different things with this. It's called Victorian Stencil. But I always wash it promptly. And I do sometimes use my Stencil Cleaner sponge on it, and then I lay it on the counter to dry. Okay, and here's another tool that you for sure are going to need, and it's a Sharpie marker. Because when you get your stencils, you want, first thing, to label the back of them. So you know which carrier sheet your stencils go back on, and also so you know which side, because that is important. So, a Sharpie is what I have found works the best for that. All right, let's see. What is next? I love these scissors from Magnolia, DIY.com. They're great. They're like a $10 investment. I have 2 pairs of them. I use them for everything. They're great on fabric. They're just great on a lot of different projects, so I totally recommend those. All right, and I don't use this very often, but I do think it's good to have a ruler in your craft room or with your craft supplies, whether you do them in the kitchen, you know, however that works for you. Maybe you're a traveling crafter and you take your craft supplies with you. I think a ruler is a good thing to have, and if you have a metal ruler and you're super careful, you can use one of those cutters along the edge of it to cut things straight, okay? Let's see, glue. Let's talk about glue. Okay, I personally have always been a crafter. I grew up with a crafty mom and 2 crafty grandmas. And one of my all-time favorite things are glue guns. So this is what I have for the longest time. And it looks terrible because I'm so messy. Okay, and it's a perfectly fine hot glue gun. I've done a ton of projects with this, but I've also burned myself a ton of times. And so unless it's absolutely necessary to use super hot glue, I don't use this anymore. Instead, I use a Surebonder Cool Shot low temperature hot glue gun that I feel is even a little bit lower than a regular low temperature hot glue gun. And this is the mini, but they have a full-size one, and I believe they may also have one that's cordless. For me, the mini plug-in works perfectly fine. And I do use their brand glue sticks. And you can get this stuff, this Surebonder brand, pretty much everywhere that you can buy craft supplies. I pick these up when they start to look really, really terrible. I pick them up at Walmart, Hobby Lobby for under $10. Okay, so I just think life is short and there's no reason to burn yourself on a hot glue gun when you can avoid that easily with a low temperature hot glue gun. Okay, another couple of things that I use like crazy. My husband said, why didn't we buy stock in paper plates and paper towels? I use a paper plate as my palette for everything, as my resting place where I put my used squeegees and stir sticks, where I lay my hot glue gun. You can see there's glue strings on here, and I do reuse them until they get pretty gunky and cannot be reused, because I don't ever want to, you know, on purpose waste anything. But alternatively, you can use a glass plate to work on. I use tons of paper towels and a good bit of Clorox disinfectant wipes. Okay, so right here is a surface that you can get from Magnolia. Hey, and I forgot to mention this. If these comments right here, whoops, where's my finger? If you're watching this on Facebook, if those, hey Darlene, I can see you right now, and I'm so sorry. I have thought of you often in that conversation that we had when I was in Coeur d'Alene visiting friends. Anyways, okay, I digress. So this is a good, it's called a self-healing mat. It's from Magnolia. It has all the measurements, which is great when you're crafting. And if you want to use a rotary cutter, this is a great thing to have. I also love my silicone mat that one of my followers sent me a few months ago because she said I waste way too many paper plates, which is true. And also I was using these cake boards. I'll open this in a second and show you what it looks like. And after they get super gunky, I was painting and gluing and all kinds of things on it. Then I would recycle them. But now I'm just using this when I go outside to spray something with the clear matte sealer. Anyways, so she sent me this silicone mat, which has the grid on one side. And what I love about a silicone mat is that you can paint, you can glue, you can do whatever you want on here, gild, nothing sticks to this. And really all you need to clean it when you're done, I mean, not even like acrylic craft paint. It will dry on there, but just use a Clorox wipe, not a baby wipe, some type of disinfectant wipe, and everything comes right off. I have spoken with the owner of Magnolia to suggest that they carry something like this. They don't have it right now, but if you want to get a silicone mat, I have seen them on Amazon in a whole range of sizes and colors, some with grids, some without. the person who sent this to me said that she got it on QVC. So just Google or go to Amazon and look for a silicone mat if that's something that you're interested in. I always clean it up and fold it up and just toss it over here when I'm not using it. Okay, let's open these cake boards so I can show you what these are, because I did used to use these a ton. Now that I have my silicone mat, I really don't need to use them as much. But what I used to do is I would craft on one side, paint, glue, whatever. And then when that was shaky, I'd flip it over and craft on this side. And then when it was completely in terrible shape, I would just recycle it. These come from Walmart, but you can get them everywhere. And they come in different sizes. And when I just bought these recently, I think it was four for around $5. And they're cake boards for putting cakes on and decorating, but they are great for crafting as well. Okay, I hope I'm not boring you guys, but I'm really just trying to share everything that I use and love around here. And I want to share a couple more Dollar Tree things. Oh, and when I look in my drawers, I see things and I remember what I love. And I have had this page and my crafting thing online for about 4 years. So I've experimented with a ton of different things. Okay, this can be super helpful if you're going to use hot glue. And it is a little finger protector from Dollar Tree. But one of my followers put it on this little wood round and sent me this. And this is a lot easier to use when you're using hot glue than your finger. So I don't know where she got this bit, but you could make something up like this if you wanted. Another thing from Dollar Tree that I like to craft with when I have something that could shift around, not a stencil because they're adhesive, but different things are these jumbo clips and these smaller ones. And you get a package of a few of them for $1 from Dollar Tree. So these are some good things to look for at your Dollar Tree. And let's go back for a second to the hot glue gun, because this was a tip that I learned from one of you guys. I don't know, I can't remember who it was. If it was you, please tell me in the comments, because thank you so much. It was such a great tip. When your glue gun starts to get strings and gunky looking, you can heat it up, and before it gets really hot, you can use a dryer sheet, and it will just pull all the strings right off. And this one has been used at least 10 times. It's got, it's yucky looking, and it's just in my drawer here with my glue stuff. So that is something else. Oh, okay, and if you are you're a impatient crafter like me. I'm just impatient in general. I like things to be quick and easy. I'm not a 8-hour kind of a craft person. But if you're like you're doing a stencil project, either on fabric or on a hard surface, this is a Magnolia heat gun, and it has 2 speeds, and it is great. I usually, because I'm impatient, I'll usually put it on the higher speed. Let me plug it in, and it just speeds the process up. So it just has this little switch right here. That's the low temperature. It's not super noisy. And here's the high temperature. So this is a good, in my opinion, item to have. Okay, now I want to talk to you about this. You're probably thinking, what in the world? Okay, this, where's the front of it? Here's the front of it. This is distilled water. I was completely out. But I got this recently at Target in the aisle that has all the waters. I've been told that you can also find distilled water in the baby and baby food section if your store doesn't have it with waters. Why distilled water? Well, I put it in my little mister, which is a handy tool from Magnolia, and I will, like, if I have a chalk paste that's a little thick, which is kind of a normal thing to have happen because their natural state is drier, so they just do it. Then I will just mist a little bit and stir it up and put the lid back on it of distilled water in my chalk paste. Also, sometimes I'll spray my, if I'm crafting on this or crafting on the Silicone Mat, I'll just spray it with water and clean it off like that. But the thing about distilled water versus tap water or bottled water or mineral water or, you know, there's all those different kinds, is that it doesn't have all the impurities in it. And you don't want to put a kind of water in your chalk paste that is going to start a science experiment. Is going to grow some kind of weird something or other. So only use distilled water. And I just keep this big jug out in my kitchen underneath the kitchen sink. And then when I'm out of water in my little mister, I'll just fill it back up again. And it's super easy, super convenient. And that whole jug was probably 95 cents. So it's not expensive at all. Okay, Rhonda says, how about water? I only use distilled water for this kind of crafting. Okay, I'm looking at my desk. What else do I have? Well, I have two more things I want to show you. One are these, and they're not really a tool, but they're on the same page with all the tools. This is like one of my all-time favorite products. They're ink and chalk paste pins from Magnolia. And this particular set is the one I use the most. It has gold and silver, black and white in chalk paste. The white ones here are chalk paste. And gold and silver, black and white in ink. And, I mean, I use them on a ton of different things. This is just one thing that's right here. I love to do dots and dashes and squiggles and to draw edges and borders on things, and that is primarily what I use these for. Okay, one last thing, and then I'm sure when I'm done I'll think of 100 more, but Denise says she loves those pins too and she uses them a lot. Seriously, if you craft very often, you definitely need a set of these. And if you want a link to the pins, just say link pins. And I'll give you a direct link when I'm done so that you can just click and go right there and you don't have to go hunt it down, okay? Now, this is gonna seem weird, I think, maybe not, but this is my little hanging, see it's got this hook, ironing board for my craft room. And this is what the back of it looks like. I have a command hook on the inside of my closet here on the door, and I just hang this puppy up like this, and then when I need to heat set something or I need to you know, press a fabric before I'm going to make something, you know, make a pillow nice, a tea towel nice, a t-shirt, any kind of crafting type fabric, then I have my little miniature ironing board and either a full-size iron or a small-size iron that my friend Susie gave me. Love this. These are great things to have in your crafting room. And I'm just looking around. Where did I put it? Okay, here's another thing. I'm going to keep thinking of things. If you're going to do heat setting of ink on fabric, I recommend that you use parchment paper in between your iron and what you're heat setting underneath it, okay? And this is my one piece of parchment paper that I've been using for the last 6 months. I need to retire it because it's got a hole in it. I'm not sure if we have any more parchment paper in the kitchen though. But I just will lay my project down, put this on top, put my iron or my little heat setting tool like on the cotton setting, no steam, and then I'll just heat set it 3 or 4 minutes back and forth. I do not have a heat press. I also do not have a bunch of fancy tools, and I don't think you need. It's up to you, of course, but I don't think you necessarily need those things. A good old-fashioned, cheap iron from Walmart and a little ironing board, some parchment paper work just fine. So, I think that is what I wanted to tell you. Oh, I do want to remind you that if you sprinkle this video to your social media so your friends and family can see, then I'm going to draw 2 names from the people who sprinkle or share the love or spread the love, you know. Take this video and put it on your Facebook page if you want. I will pick 2 names tomorrow, and I will send them a Valentine's Day catalog and the ever sought after red squeegee. So, sprinkle, 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 if you would. Especially if you have crafty friends that maybe don't know all these tips. They don't know the deal about distilled water, you know, whatever it is. And if this would be helpful to them. Thank you, Valerie. She says she's already shared. Patricia says she's sprinkled. Hey, Monica. Hi, Cindy. So this is what I will be giving away to 2. I'll just pull up the list of everyone who has sprinkled or spread the love or SHARED, and I'll randomly pull 2 names tomorrow to send a red squeegee and a Valentine's Day calendar. If you want to look at anything that I've talked about that is a Magnolia product, my website is magnoliadiy.com, and in my super messy handwriting, I tried to write it out just so you could see. I really do have terrible handwriting. Magnolia DIY, period, C-O-M. So that is my website. And then to look at these tools and things that we've talked about, click on the accessories category and it's all there. But if you just want a link, just say link and I'll send you a direct link that goes directly to the accessories page on my Magnolia website, so you don't have to hunt it down. Okay, Janine, I'll get you a link. Thanks for sprinkling, Beverly. I am hoping to come live again later today with a craft project that I'm working on, but we'll have to see how much I can get accomplished. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. So do a this, or say something in the comments. Check to see if you've liked and followed DIY Dreaming. What else? Turn on your notifications. And all of those things seem to improve the chances that Facebook will serve you what I'm doing here at DIY Dreaming. You can always find me directly just by going on Facebook and typing in the search bar DIY Dreaming, all smushed together. And that will bring you here. So, oh, Kim says she sprinkled to her 3 daughters. Thank you so much. We do a lot of fun and easy, kind of different craft projects here. So I would love for you to like and follow this page and sprinkle, and yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. And oh, and by the way, Thank you so much to everybody who did stars. That's so kind of you. I so appreciate it. All right, see you later. Bye.